Hello and welcome to Dave Makes Stuff. Time for a rear suspension lift. And if you're thinking, well, the back end looks lifted. Yes, it is. It's on a jack. In this video, we're going to make a pair of spring spacers. So first off, we're going to demolish the rear suspension so we can bodge together a spacer and just check we've got the height right before doing it properly. Rather than using spring compressors, I'm just going to force the suspension down a long way. So I need to disconnect everything. Should have offloaded the anti-roll bar first, but never mind. Headlight level sensor's the last thing on this side, and then once that's away, I can start giving the suspension some grief until we get the spring out. Or at least until we get most of the spring out. Because, well, here's most of it, and here's the rest of it. New spring required. In the meantime, I'm going to make a glorious steel hamburger out of these Land Rover spring seats. And we'll drop that onto the trailing arm like so, and then we'll refit the spring something like this. Good, so mischief managed. Let's drop it back onto its wheels to see how high it is. And you might be thinking, but you've only packed one side. It's not going to be sitting level, it's going to be a mess. And at that point I'll just sort of look mysterious and mutter something about continuity errors. Moving swiftly on. The front and the back look about the same height, so I think we're good. And in fact, if we measure to the top of the sill panels at the back end, and again at the front end, yeah, we're level. It's all good. So now we can weld the spacer together permanently. Here I'm trimming one of the spring seats so that I can weld them together somewhere sensible. And no one wants their hamburger flat in the middle either, so there's a piece of tube going in there to stiffen it. All looking like so. Time for some welding, starting with that stiffening tube. The middle's only ever going to be loaded in compression, so we don't need to seam weld it all the way round. Just a few individual points will do. With hindsight, you probably didn't need to see all of them, sorry. Having welded the inner piece in for a change, here's some more welding. Round the outside this time, although thankfully we've got a slightly saner editing decision, a bit less of it shown. Then the spacer needs one last piece, which is this cone-shaped thing which serves to locate the coil spring and make sure that it can't slide off the seat and boing across the street and knock out someone's, I don't know, market stall full of apples. You get the picture. Anyway, let's find the plot and some paint. And then once it's suitably shiny, it becomes apparent that I did the mock-up on the passenger side and I'm showing you the real thing on the driver's side. If that's a lack of artistic integrity, then I'm sorry to my mum, to everyone I've let down, and I promise to do better. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish fitting this spring and get the wheel back on. And there we are. It's standing on its own four wheels. It's lifted. The world's a happy place. Shock absorbers still to sort, but they can wait for another day. What's perhaps more interesting is that we were level front to back earlier and we're not now. And that's not the fault of this lift. Oh no. The front end just temporarily weighs a bit less. And it might be a story for another video. So thanks for watching and hopefully see you in the next one.